Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Prahlad Karambi, a second year MD postgraduate resident at the Department of Pediatrics and Neonatology of Meenakshi Medical College Hospital and Research Institute, Kanchipuram, Tamil Nadu, India. At the outset, I am grateful to the organizers of the RCPCH Exhibition 2020 Liverpool to ensure that the poster platform goes online to ensure that we can all share our posters online with the scientific community at large. The poster I'm modern presenting is titled Management of a Case of Severe Neonatal Pneumonia by Indigenous Bubble CPAP. I'll be presenting the poster, and the co-authors of this poster are my colleagues, Dr. Saujanya, Dr. Anusha, and our consultant, Dr. Ramprakash. As the name suggests, indigenous bubble CPAP is a commonly used strategy what we follow in our low resource setting where bulk of the patients are not affordable for high-end ventilation strategies where we can ensure that we can ventilate the children if required with bubble CPAP and at the same time prevent mechanical ventilation on a ventilator. This has its advantages because we do have reduced incidences of ventilator-associated pneumonia, a decreased stay in the hospital, as well as more ease towards the patient, and of course, the primary reason being more affordable. Now, coming to the case, it was a 26-year-old neonate who was born as a term child at 38 weeks plus 4 days of gestation, appropriate for gestation age with a birth weight of 3 kgs. He was admitted to us on the 26th day of life, and the weight at admission was 3.5 kgs. The presenting complaints were a history of cough and cold from 4 days prior to admission, as well as breathlessness for 1 day prior to coming to the hospital. On admission, his respiratory rate was 70 and saturation was 92% at room air. And on further close examination, we found that multiple retractions were present, both intercostal as well as subcostal, and an increased work of breathing also present. We admitted this child under the NICU and did a basic sepsis workup, suspecting late onset sepsis for the child. Total count, however, was normal, 15,000, and the counts on differential count was a neutrophil predominant count. CRP, however, was positive, and the remainder of investigations, however, was normal. We started the child on IV fluids initially at maintenance and started empirically on antibiotics of amoxiclav as well as amikacin as per our institution protocol, and started the child on 4 liters of oxygen through simple nasal prongs only because initially the child was maintaining saturation well. And with nasal prongs, the saturation was maintaining at a full 100%. However, 24 hours into his admission, we found that the child was desaturating and the retractions were further worsening. And we took a decision to start the child on indigenous bubble CPAP with a PEEP, that is positive end expiratory pressure of 5 centimeters of water. On starting bubble CPAP, the saturation maintained completely, retractions completely disappeared, and at the same time, child was otherwise completely normal. And we also tapered the feeds from IV fluids completely to express breast milk through an orogastric tube given at interval of 2 hours 10 ml feed through the orogastric tube, and this continued for 3 days. Provisionally, the blood culture report showed us no growth, so suspecting a viral pneumonia, we went ahead and continued the treatment in the same line. If you notice the poster, the initial X-ray what we took at admission shows a typical picture of a right upper lobe pneumonia. And the etiology of it, what we feel even now, is it was likely behind an aspirative etiology. We removed the NG tube after 3 days, and by these 3 days, we were able to completely stop the IV fluids and initially were able to slowly wean the child into express breast milk through Paladay and subsequently through direct feeds. By day 5, we were able to completely wean the child off oxygen completely, of CPAP completely, and however, the child did continue to remain on oxygen at 4 liters through nasal prongs. By day 6, we felt a need to wean off oxygen, so from 4 to 2 to 1 and subsequently to half liter through nasal prongs, we were able to do a weaning of the oxygen. And on day 7, we were able to fully wean the child off oxygen, kept initially in the NICU for observation, and then were able to shift out mother side as well. This case is a typical course of a child with a typical pneumonia who required ventilative support, was not put on any mechanical ventilation and was able to maintain oxygenation status and ventilation perfusion matching completely maintained only on indigenous bubble CPAP. Now, if you notice the schematic diagram which is mentioned in the slides, we have an oxygen source from which the common piping does come. One end goes into a chamber where the PEEP is generated by modifying an IV stand where water is filled up to a particular level. How deep we dip the oxygen piping into that is how deep the PEEP will be. So 5 centimeters depth will give 5 centimeters of PEEP. So from this 3-way cannula, further we take this end which comes towards the baby. So ultimately with a simple setting, we are able to ensure that a child is able to be ventilated and the lungs are able to give adequate ventilation for the child. If you see completely this entire cost setting up this from scratch, a disposable circuit completely through and through will come to a mere amount of 735 rupees, which is less than 10 pounds, which ensures that this is a very cost effective way of managing a pneumonia. If you study the literature, there are many cases reported where indigenous bubble CPAP was used during the H1N1 pandemic in 2009 in low resource settings. And this is also an excellent strategy which can be used during the current times of COVID. This case came to us in September 2019 and was submitted for consideration at this conference in October of 2019. The conference was due in April but was postponed because of the coronavirus pandemic. And if you see any headlines from any major news outlet all over the world, one common point what you can notice is there is consistently a talk about requirement of ventilators, requirement of hospital beds, and the need for critical care. Use of such technology like indigenous bubble CPAP is a wonderful way to ensure that mechanical ventilators and NIV modes are available for those who require it the most. And cases which are just starting to deteriorate can be made to cure better. This case only highlights one successful case what we have managed at our hospital in our unit over the past 1 year. However, there are many such cases like this which we are planning to put forward as a case series where a similar successful outcome is there. Now, I'm not saying that indigenous bubble CPAP can completely rule out the requirement for mechanical ventilator, but given the current times where there is a need to ensure mechanical ventilators are given for those who require it the most, this technology can ensure that the medical equipment what we have, the ventilators what we have can be reserved for those who require it the most. And we also don't have to worry about sanitizing the circuits because whatever we set up is of a complete low cost equipment and it can be used for a particular child and then discarded securely. If a next child requires this, we can go ahead and assemble a new circuit from scratch. And most importantly, it is cost effective because there is a need for healthcare to be given across the country, across the world, all over the world, in all continents, to as many people as possible given the current pandemic. On that note, I come to the end of this presentation, and there is a short video which I have merged into this, which shows how the circuit is assembled along with the wall-mounted oxygen source from the humidifier. If you have any queries, please contact me on the email ID which is mentioned in the poster. Thank you.